Hey guys, welcome to Muscle Memory. My name is Malcolm. Today, this is a guy I haven't talked to in such a long time, and he recently just made his pro wrestling debut. And in my books, he won. It's Chris Danger. How are you, man?
I like that. I like the way you look at that because I look at the same way. What up, dude? What's going on, man? Appreciate you having me, man.
Of course,
Appreciate you having me.
man. It's been such a long time. I feel like last time we talked, you weren't too fond of me. I was still a backstage correspondent for DPW.
Mm.
We had some words for each other. It was,
Did we?
yeah. I don't know.
Oh, it's so long ago. I can't remember. It's so long ago. I have doesn't even,
Good,
I can't even really remember what was said, to be
good.
honest with you. Let's let bygones be bygones and just just
Thank
move.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
dude, you had a pro wrestling match. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. But I want to talk about first, how are you feeling today as of December 8th, 2023? Because I'm sure it have been in pain.
No, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm not in any pain. The match was at this point, the match was like 3 weeks ago. So my arm has sealed up, thankfully, and healed up. But I was literally like last night I was back in training again. You know, full there's a goddamn fly. Full on, like, no restrictions. So I'm just happy to be back and working again because those, like, was it like 2 weeks or maybe like a week and a half after the match where, like, first of all, I got sick as soon as I got home from the match. And that was just the shit that was, like, going around for so long. Everybody was getting it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, I couldn't lift or I couldn't train because, I had stitches in my arm and whatever. So that, like, week and a half, I was just, like, pacing around the house just wanting to get back to work because I'm the type of person that uh immediately after the match was over, I thought I was gonna have this, like, oh, okay, like, I did it. I got it out of my system, but my mind immediately was just like, okay, here's what has to be better for next time. Here's what I got, like, so I immediately just re-entered back into that state of mind. So it
Yeah.
was hard for me to take that, like, week and a half off, but it's probably good that I did because I've been going hard for a long time now, so I probably needed it, to be honest
For
with
sure. For sure. First question, are you going to keep wrestling? Is that like the goal? Are you going to become a pro wrestler? Is this a new mission for you?
you. I am going to keep wrestling. Yeah, that was not a one-time thing. And that's something that, like, I didn't say out loud beforehand because I didn't. You don't really know, right? Like, you don't really know. I can do all the practice matches and training that I want. I'll get all the reps, without a crowd there. But you really don't know until someone's hitting you as hard as they can hit you in front of a packed house, with the address. You don't really know until you get there. So I didn't want to say, like, yeah, but because I might, in my mind, I was like, I might get out of there and be like, I'm good. I'm good. I got what I needed. I'm out. Um, but that was not the case at all. I got out of there and I was like, give me the next one. It's just,
Oh
just
yeah.
something about it that just completely, you know, engulfed me in it. And I'm happy it did. So
Yeah, man. Like even watching the match back, I feel like the minute you walked out, like the entire crowd, it was electric. Like it was such a moment in time. What were you feeling in that moment, like stepping through the curtain?
that was one of the most unreal moments ever. Because again, it's one of those things where I didn't, like, yeah, everybody was on board with the manager thing, right? Because as a manager, like, I get to be involved. I'm in the world, but you're not, like, in the world. You know what I mean? So I feel like everybody was cool with, like, this outside guy coming in and being a manager, blah blah. But I was like, okay, once I crossed that threshold, people might be like, all right, like, relax, Chris, like, go back to YouTube, blah blah, like, that type of shit. Um, so stepping out and hearing that was definitely validating. It was like, oh, okay, people do kind of want to see me try this and see where it goes, like that. So that felt incredible. Um, and that, like, there's that shot too of, like, the me in the ring, like, with the streamers coming down. I was like, this is something I never thought I would see in my life. So it's just seeing these moments happen that you've always thought about in your mind, but you were like, nah, that's just, another lifetime or whatever. And actually happening
Yeah.
is crazy. It's unreal. Just unreal.
I was gonna mention the streamers, very like Ring of Honor-esque.
Oh
Like
yeah. Oh my God.
gave me
I
that
hope they do
moment.
that. I want them to do that for everybody at every show. I think that's such a cool visual. And the thing too about the DPW crowd, and you know this too, is that, like, they get it.
Yeah.
Like, they get it. They appreciate the good wrestling. They they are there to, they're gonna boo the bad guys and cheer the good guys, and they're gonna get behind them in these matches, and they're gonna be as loud as they fucking can. And that's one thing I'm grateful for is having my first match be not only for a company that's run by three dudes that I love and that I would, that I'd go to battle with, but with a crowd and an audience like them, who is a combination of like, Deadlock fans and old school wrestling fans, new wrestling fans, Chris Danger fans, all this big. And I was just so grateful to be able to do it there because, a lot of times your first match for a lot of people is going to be in front of 2.5 people, right? Like in a beat down little. That's usually how it goes, and there's not a damn thing wrong with that at all. Like you start where you start, but being able to start at that point for me and in that audience, in that whole crowd and everything, like I said, man, I was just like so grateful for that. I told the guys too afterwards. I was like, don't fucking tell anybody this, but like, I love you guys. Thank you. Like, thank you so much for this opportunity. Like all this. I was like, don't fucking ever tell anybody I said that. But yeah, I was just grateful for the whole thing, dude.
Especially, man, like even when like Shawn Spears came out, I feel like it really like solidified that moment. Like, oh, he's not just like a YouTuber; he's wrestling a wrestler's wrestler.
Oh yeah,
the guy that's on television. He's done everything.
and let me say this too real quick, just
Okay.
about Spears, because I want to make sure that this is on record being said.
Sure.
He is so fucking good.
Mhm.
Like underrated is a term that's thrown around a lot and blah blah this and that, but like fuck all, like he is so good. So people could say, oh, well, he's not on TV or he doesn't win matches. Like, bro, you will not find a single worker, a single person who takes this wrestling shit seriously who will ever have a bad word to say about that dude, especially if they worked with him. Because I guarantee you, and because all wrestlers are streamers now, right? Go into their damn chat, like everybody, all the wrestlers doing their Twitch channels, go in their chat and be like, "Hey, have you ever worked Shawn Spears? What do you think of him?" And I guarantee they'll all say, "Man, that was the easiest night of my life," or "Man, this dude is a pro's pro." So if you don't want to take my word for it, take it from whoever else. But he is. I need to put that on record. Like he is so fucking good and underrated, and people need to start taking notice of it for sure.
Yeah, you trained with him and Tyler Breeze. What was like the training like going into like just knowing that like, all right, the end goal is to be a wrestler, but I gotta get trained by these two dudes that done a lot of stuff in the world of wrestling. So what was the
Yeah.
training like for you?
I mean, for me, I was like, I'm gonna come there. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up and listen. Having watching wrestling for so long, and again, something you could probably relate to. You go in with, you have a good amount of knowledge. I absolutely suggest that if you want to be a wrestler, you should be a wrestling fan to some extent because you have knowledge of some things just feel right to you because you've seen them so many times. You know what comes after that. You had drop
Like a
down to
mental
L, like
repetition.
you
Yeah.
because you've seen it so many times. But even all that, I was like, I need to get all that out of my head, any preconceived notions I have, and just listen and just take, so it started off with just Breeze. So maybe for like the first week, it was actually just me and Breeze. And then when Spears came in, the intensity just completely picked up because they're both ball busters and they'll get on you for shit, but there's two different teaching styles. Breeze is, I would say, a little more hands-on, and he'll give you a little more room to like figure it out for yourself, which is good for some people. And Spears, though, it's like if you fuck something up, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean? And we need that. Like you kind of need both ends of it, of somebody being like, because if you're new, you mess up, you need somebody to be like, it's okay, it's okay, run it again. It's okay, run again. But you also need somebody to be like, hey, you want to do this shit? Get to it. So having both of them and all the knowledge that they have, like I said, I just showed up and shut up and said, yeah, like I said, yes, sir, let's do that. Like, and just tried to learn as much as I could while I was there. And then also like continuing with that knowledge, because I live out in the Midwest, so I have training out here too. And it's just taking all of that I learned in the initial training and now just repping it out and trying to always remember the things that were originally taught to me. But man, I couldn't have asked for a better, initial introduction into the business than Breeze and Spears for sure.
I know briefly when I trained to be a wrestler, one of my trainers was Bishop Khan for Ring of Honor or AEW.
Okay.
He was much like Spears in a way of like really getting on you. Like if you messed up, burpees, and it was
Yeah.
dude was crazy. But there's
Yeah.
always like these moments like when you're training that you think you can do something, and then you try, you're like, man, that looked absolutely terrible. What was like the hardest part of wrestling training for you, trying to like get through your head of being able to figure out like this is what I see, but how does my body move in that way?
You know what? You know what's funny, and I don't want to expose anything too much, but there's some stuff that I did that was the complete opposite. I said that there's no way I'm gonna be able to do that. Like just what, like I look at the move and I go, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that safely or blah blah whatever. And then this that and okay, do this and blah blah. And then I did it and I was like, holy shit, that was so easy. Like so it was honestly more so like I expected everything to be hard,
Yeah.
which is probably a good outlook to have because so you don't like, you don't look at it from the wrong end. Like expect everything to be hard so you won't be surprised. But there was some stuff where I was like, holy shit, that's a lot easier than it looks. And that comes down to, obviously the people that are teaching you also breaking it down in a way for you to understand. Um, I'm trying to think of an example, like suicide dive. First time I ever did a suicide dive. I was like, you got to run full speed, dive out of the ring. I was like, yeah, somebody's there, there. So you have that impact, and you can, but you're still flying out of the ring as fast as you can with your body extended, just kind of hoping that everybody's in the right place. So the first time I did it, I was kind of like, okay, and I ran, and I just dove through, and I landed. And I was like, that's it. He was like, yeah, that's it. I was like, all right, fuck it, let's throw it in the mat. So just like little shit like that was funny to see the further we went into training for sure.
There's a famous video by Chris Van Vliet of getting chopped by Shawn Spears and Tyler Breeze. Did you have to go through that as well? And how did it feel?
I did have to go through that as well. But honestly, too, is like that was by choice. I wasn't forced to go through that. They said, sometimes we do this as a fun little, do you want to do it? And I said, absolutely. Like I have my camera guy here. Of course, we're fucking doing that. And there's a picture too at the end of Chop Day. I think it's on my Instagram. And my bro, the skin has peeled off of my chest. Like there's literal open wounds across my chest because how many people were in that class? I think maybe like 15, 20 people were in that class.
Yeah.
No, maybe a little less, maybe like 12. But they all gave you 2 chops. So that's 24 plus workers that were there, which was like 4 or 5 other workers, and Spears. And Spears was the last one.
Oof.
So yeah. So like I said, just look at the picture from that day. That video too got like 3 million on TikTok, 5 million on Instagram. Just his one final chop, and you could just see my chest explode internally. It was a rough day, but it was somehow a lot of fun at the same time. So
what does it feel like? If you can explain.
It feels like someone is taking the palm of their hand and slapping it against your chest as hard as they possibly fucking can. I'm trying to. I can't really compare it. It's literally that. It's someone taking their open palm skin, and you don't hold back. You got to make that sound. It's got to look good. It's got to sound good. So you throw that bitch, and when the meat connects, it's a whole. It wakes you up for sure. It wakes you up. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Oh God, no, never. Could not do it. Could not.
No,
do
don't say never. Don't say never. Talking about some rest. No, don't say never. That's
Nah,
coming.
I don't know about that one. I'm about to move past that one.
That's coming.
Originally, you had a different opponent that was supposed to be in place for your DPW debut. That was Adam Cole. Obviously, that didn't work out. He got injury at AEW.
Yeah.
Even going into that, what was the conversations of like, hey, I'm gonna have Adam Cole as like my first ever opponent?
It's kind of one of those things where like, okay, I'm gonna shoot as high as I can and then just see what happens. So it actually started. It started in when we went to the AEW like Fight Forever pre-release thing, whatever it was. So there's this thing in Vegas. A couple creators got invited to it. We were playing the game beforehand, whatever. And Cole was there. And like I have known him for a while now. Like we talk very frequently, but I don't get to see him in person a lot. So I'm catching up and we're talking, and I was just like, it was at the point where we were trying to figure, okay, who's that first opponent going to be? We're like, we had a couple ideas of things we could do, but nothing was like set in stone yet. So I was just like, how'd you feel about like taking an indie date? And he was like, I'd be open to it. Well, what are you thinking? And I was like, I think like me and you would be crazy. And like the look on his face, he was like, really? And then I was like, yeah, man, like that would just be, I know you got a million things going on. I was like, but it would be an absolute honor. I think people would be really excited about it too because it's so unique and such a different matchup than you would think. It's you look at if you look at a card and you see Chris Danger versus Adam Cole, it's like, oh, what 2K video is this? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's like, oh, this is an actual match that is happening. Um, and I will never forget his like reaction to it because he was like his eyes lit up and he was like, I would absolutely love to do that. It would be my honor to be your first match. And I was like, but you say that to me? And like, because he's like literally the greatest human being in the world, like genuinely. Um, and when he said that, and I went back and told the guys, I was like, he's down. I was like, he's down to do this. And I was like, set that shit up if you can. So like, obviously they worked out all the business stuff, and we were good to go. We were all set. We made that announcement 4 days before, he unfortunately got really hurt. Which was just, oh my God, that was devastating for a lot of reasons. Obviously, I felt bad for him because like, that's
On the
you get
personal
ready for
side, of course.
he's
Yeah.
on TV, he's getting ready for this run and everything, doing all the great shit with MJF, and then all of a sudden, like, you just gotta stop. Like, that's gotta be heartbreaking for him. So I try not to be like, oh, poor, woe is me. It's like, dude just snapped his foot in 16 places. Like, I'm like, I can wait. But at the same time, we were like, okay, well, we gotta figure out an alternate. So A led to B, led to C, led to D, and we worked it out with Spears, which was awesome. And honestly, like, I think now too, the story that we're gonna be able to tell, because the goal is still Adam Cole. When
Okay.
he's
That's
ready,
all.
we're going. That could be your main headline, whatever. When Adam Cole is ready, we are going.
Adam Cole
Um,
will be in DPW at some point in
Adam
time.
Cole will be in DPW to fight me at some point. Period. That is happening. That is happening. Where you're gonna have to tear us both apart from each other. Someone trying to stop it. That's the same. Like, that's the same way he feels about it too. Because I've spoken to him many times, even after he got hurt. He's like, bro, like, I'm so sorry. Don't apologize for hurting yourself in like a freak accident. Like, that's shit happens. But he's like as soon as we can make this happen, we're gonna make it happen. So that being the end goal now, the story we're able to tell of getting to that, I'm really looking forward to, because it gives me an opportunity to get even more experience in the ring right before it happens, and allows me to learn more before we get there. Because I'm going in this match with Spears, right?
Mhm.
20-year veteran against someone's first match. All that's in my mind is like, can I honestly say I went into that match thinking I was going to win? No, absolutely not. It's a matter of, do I have enough knowledge and know-how to keep you down for 3 seconds? That's what it comes to. And at that point, especially against Spears, he has more knowledge, right? So it's going to be a process for me to figure that out, because I believe, as far as I go, if you're gonna beat me, it's gonna be a long, hard day for you. You're gonna have to rip a hole in my arm. You're gonna have to chop the skin off my chest. You're gonna have to throw me into the crowd and hope I don't get back into the ring in time. That's how you're gonna have to beat me. But once I get the knowledge, and once I get a little more experience and understand what I need to do to seal the deal, I'll have that by the time Adam Cole comes around. That I'm confident of. So now when I fight Adam Cole, it's not, oh, wow, Chris has this really cool opportunity. No, when I fight Adam Cole, I'm going to come to beat Adam Cole, because that would be the biggest accomplishment I could fucking make, period. In your first year beating someone, like, look back at the footage. Spears beat the shit out of me. I was close. So a couple times I felt like I even looked at the ref afterwards and was like, that was 3, right? Like, please God, tell me that was 3. So as soon as I'm able to cross that threshold and get that little extra experience, by the time Cole comes around, that's going to be a fight that a lot of people are going to be surprised by.
If
I'll leave
Chris
it at that.
Danger had like a hit list of his next 5 opponents, who would be on that?
Shit.
Omos.
There's a lot of people that I just love to work with for whatever reason. Breeze is on there. Even like I'll tell you like top of the list, and I'm sure everybody knows like my dream match would be against Woods. It would be like, and I know that's probably not anything that can happen in the super near future,
Never
unless
know.
things
You never know.
change. You never know. A lot of different stuff going on behind the scenes there. You never know. But he's definitely like a lot of people ask me like, oh, if you could have like one match that's out of your reach right now, what would it be? It's that one. It's for just because like I'm pretty confident not that none of this happens without him, but without his advice and guidance and stuff, it would have been a hell of a lot harder. So that he's at the top for me. I mean, knowing how good Claudio is, God, I would like and I know he would beat the dog shit out of me. He would uppercut me to the third, up to the rafters. But being in there with him and that intensity, we talking about learning. You know how much I would learn in an 8-minute match with Claudio? I would have like a career's worth of knowledge after that. Just people like that I respect and that I know would be because the thing with me too is like, and I don't want this to sound any type of way, and it might, but I want all of my matches to feel special, right? I want people to look at that and be like, how the hell is he doing that? Because that's the what's the word? That's the inspiration that I want to provide for other people.
Yep.
Is that like this is still a business where a fan can thrive. It's not always, oh, we're signing this 18-year-old D1 athlete fresh out of college to NXT, right? Or this guy that's been on the independents for 12 years and has this. It's like, that's the way a lot of it is right now, but that doesn't have to be the way all of it is. So it's like, I like to use this as like a reminder to people, you can love this and just be a fan of this and work your ass off and get somewhere with it. So just being able to like have the opportunity to do that as a wrestler is unbelievable. So I want all of those matches and moments to feel important because they're important to me. I don't want to just throw shit out just to do stuff. I like stories. I like having reasons to do stuff. So I'm just looking forward to having an opportunity to do more, however, whenever, and whoever it might be against,
You mentioned 3 names. Let's round it out. I need 2 more. Round out of 5.
All right, I'll shoot high. Seth.
Oh God.
Would love to work with Seth.
Really high.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is shit I'm gonna throw out, right? Did anybody think I was gonna throw out the name Adam Cole and it was gonna happen? No. Someone just keep throwing out names and see what the fuck happens. Seth would be insane. Maybe somebody a little more accessible.
CM Punk.
Oh, yeah, obviously he's like not busy at all, so he can roll through and just do a quick 5 minutes. He goes under, puts the new guy over, and we're good. Shit. There's so many. Like let me pick somebody on the DPW roster because the DPW roster is so freaking good. I think me and Andrew Everett would have a fun.
That's a good one.
I think me and Andrew Everett would have a fun back and forth because we're very personalities very similar. We have similar outlooks on wrestling. Yeah. He's obviously very tied into the internet wrestling world as I am.
Very tall too. He's a giant.
He is. He's a giant. He's a big man. So it's going to be one of those like David Goliath things. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to bring my A game. But I love him. He's so freaking good. Unfortunately, we just lost 2 amazing DPW talents, Lucky Ali and Jay Malachi, who like I love those dudes to death.
What's your thoughts on those 2 possibly going over to their next venture? Possible WWE.
Give those guys, pay those dudes, give them the opportunity. Don't put the cuffs on them. Let them do what they can do. Lucky Ali is gonna piss so many people off, and he's so good at it. He's
Super.
so good at getting under your skin that I'm almost afraid that they're gonna be like tone that down a little bit. But I believe that that's what makes Lucky Ali so special, is that he is so damn good at getting under your skin and like crossing those lines. But then in the ring, he also backs it up because he can go in the ring, like without a doubt.
He's
Then you got
amazing.
somebody like Malachi,
Young,
who
young kid.
he's like 19 years old. He could jump 40 feet in the air. His athleticism is unreal. I'll never forget too. Maybe I'm a little biased because I just love the kid, but like the first day of DPW Fire, he ran up to me and he's like, "Bro, I've been watching you for blah 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 this and that," and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool, bro." Like I had no idea really like who he was at that point, bro. I appreciate that so much. That's like super sick. Yada yada. And then he goes out there and I watch him, and I was like, and he came back and I was like, no, 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 bro. I'm a fan of you. I was like, I'm a fan of you,
Right?
bro. Like
Yeah.
he's so good. He's so good. And I hope they just flourish to the utmost extent.
Sorry for the commercial break, guys. I had an alarm go off in this dorm room, and it was incredibly loud and annoying.
Man's burning his whole building down. It's
I
crazy.
am apparently so, man, because this interview is so fire. Because I'm talking such a great
Oh,
professional
well,
wrestler.
look at that. Look at that. That's
So,
why you're a professional.
thank you, man. I mean, you mentioned that your big goals have like these big matches and whatnot. Do you want to
Mm.
like join a major wrestling company at some point?
Um, if it made sense, sure. If it made sense, surprisingly, it's a question that I get asked a lot. People are like, "Oh, would you want to go to like AEW or WWE?" Like which? And I'm like, they're both obviously at the top of the game.
Yeah.
Having an opportunity to work with one of them, just as like a life goal it would be sick. But it would have to make sense. It would have to be right. It's like I wouldn't want to do it just to do it. If it was a thing where like, okay, we can do something cool with like the character and the way we introduce them or just whatever. I'm open to discussions. So if Paul wants to hit, let me know.
I can see. I mean, there's a Royal Rumble coming up, so it's possible. One of
There
the
is.
entrants.
I will say too though that because I want to make sure people know this, like I like DPW is my home. I want to see that place grow as much as it possibly can. Seeing where it started from, knowing how passionate the guys are about really bringing out like some great wrestling programming. So I like best case scenario for me is that we as a whole at DPW are able to just continue to build on this groundswell and make something out of that. I think that would be the coolest end game instead of how it is on a lot of independents. Like people have runs at their place and then somebody signs them and then on to the next one. I would love for DPW to be able to end up in that same conversation. Obviously, it's a big undertaking, and a lot would have to happen for that to happen. But I believe in it, and I definitely think it's something that could happen. But at the same time, this is a fast moving, ridiculous ass world. So who knows what's gonna come up? But I'm always open to doing cool shit as long as it makes sense.
In my
That's why.
opinion, I feel like Deadlock Pro Wrestling is probably the number one independent wrestling company right now. Do you agree with? Do you agree with that?
I agree with it in terms of quality and production and the matches that they're having. Absolutely, I don't think it's given its proper credit.
For
I
sure.
think we're drawing really good houses, but not only just that, the internet presence, which is huge for any independent company, is like on that end, it's second to none. I think like you look at some of the views on their YouTube channel with some of the stuff we were able to do together, and uh, just all the social media love that they get, which again is huge if you're growing as a independent like that. Um, but like I said, I think they're gonna make it. It's gonna be big for them, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And I do think that they are, as far as for like sitting down watching a independent wrestling show. If you're going to do that, I would highly recommend DPW. Absolutely.
Certainly. And one last big question for you.
Sure.
You're a wrestler now. I mean, I feel like if it's not in the mindset, I don't know why you're a wrestler. Do you have an interest or goal of becoming the DPW world champion?
Yeah, but maybe not yet. I don't think the time is right now.
Okay.
I think I still have more to prove. Um, I don't ever want to be handed anything ever. And I know people like know the relationship. Oh, he's friends with James and Johnny and Tony, so he's blah blah. Bro, if I told you, I probably shouldn't talk about this. I'm gonna talk about it anyway. Uh, I was brought on to be a manager.
Yep.
Period. The end. I was the one that said, I want to do this. I want to try it out. I think it could be cool. Maybe we can figure out a match, yada yada. And they all said, "You're out of your fucking mind." Like they no, like they're like, look at who we have on this card. Like, and you want to wrestle? They're like, that's probably not gonna happen. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get trained. Like I'm gonna get trained for real, for real. And I'm gonna keep training, keep working after that, and we'll circle back to it. So I went down to Flatbacks. They saw the work I put in there, and then we started working on conversations. So now then it became a process of like, okay, well, if this and that, and if this and that, which that's what I wanted. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to be handed anything. Yes, they are my friends and they support me as a friend, but they're running a business. You know, right? They're running a business that they want to be very big, and I respect that. So I'm not going to come in there acting like I deserve a spot or acting like I should just be given something. That's one of the reasons I worked as hard as I fucking did this last year, is because I had people to prove to. It's not just like, oh, let's give Chris has this platform and he's going to get us a lot of views and yada yada, so let's just bring him on. Like, no, they weren't going to do that, and I respect the hell out of them for that, because that's how important this is to them, and they also know that I don't want to be handed shit. So they were on my ass. If we're going to do this, if you're going to do this, Adam Cole, and obviously anybody would want Adam Cole on their show. It doesn't matter who you are. But if we're going to do this, like, you got to be ready. Like, talking to me, like, you have to be ready to do it. And I said, like, and I was like, I'm not going to step into it unless I feel like I can live up to that caliber and those expectations. And not for nothing, I feel like I proved that pretty well in that Shawn Spears match. I think a lot of people stepped away from that and said, "Okay, oh, okay, he's fucking serious about this." Because I am fucking, this isn't, we talk about it's not a game anymore and stuff, but like this is not a side quest. You know what I mean? This is not a side quest. This is my main quest right now. So world title, I'm sure the day I would say I'd be. Because I'm always I have a hard time answering this question because, like I said, I don't want to feel like, or I don't want to put it out there like, oh, I'm deserving of it or whatever, because that's not the case. However, knowing myself, I'm going to continue to work in between matches. I'm going to get better and better every time I go out there. I'm going to look better and better every time I go out there, because that's just how it has to be for me. That's how my mind is laid out. Better than the last time, just continually growing and growing. And I feel like probably before too long, I will get to a point where I say, okay, I'm the fucking man now. And now it's my turn for a shot. So when that day comes, whoever the world champion is at that time, hopefully they have a good relationship with me. Because if not, it's just going to be a harder night for them. But till then, I'm going to do what I got to do.
Chris, I wish you luck on that venture. I don't think you even need the luck, honestly. It looks like you put in the work and it's paying
Thank
off.
you, man.
The match went great. I'm excited for the second one, whenever that is next.
Thank you, bro.
Dude, where can they find your social media? They're already following you, but just say it anyway. Where can they follow you on social media?
The Twitter and IG and stuff is the Chris Danker. And then, of course, you can always find me on YouTube at Dankops. Because like I said, wrestling is my main thing now. And you could tell that by the infrequency of uploads over the last year. But I still, obviously, like, my YouTube audience, those are like, I wouldn't be here without them. Period. Anywhere. I wouldn't be sniffing a wrestling ring without the support of the people who like rock with my videos and stuff for so long. So, my YouTube family is my family, right? That's always going to be a part of, you know, if God forbid, if I, you know, my leg falls off tomorrow and I can't wrestle anymore, you know, they're always going to be there. So I'm always going to be there for them too. So yeah, follow me wherever you feel like it, or don't.
There it is. Chris Danger, Dan Cops, thank you so much for your time, man. You've been very generous with it, and I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro.
Guys, I mean, follow Chris Danger, follow his wrestling career.
Go Birds!
The Royal Rumble. You never know.
And go Birds, baby.
Go Birds, like yes, sir.
We like
yes,
that.
sir. Yeah, we gotta come back. We gotta get back in blood after that last.
I ain't worried about it.
Yeah.
Who's still? Oh, we lost the game and we're. Oh wait, we're still the number 1 seed in the NFL. Oh my bad. Oh, I'm sorry.
Greatness, of course.
Get out of here.
Just like yourself.
You already know.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Yes, sir. And we're out.
Oh man, I appreciate you. I'll catch you.